The story of TBA Church is amazing, and I've been blessed to be a small part of it, starting all the way back in 1948 and bringing us to where we are today. Throughout all of that time, God has shown us over and over again that He has a plan for us. He's shown us that if we follow what He asks of us, He will continue to bless us and show us where He's working so that we can join Him. If you ever want to hear the full story of TBA, just ask around. Find someone who's been here for the past 11 years, or maybe even longer, before we were even TBA. I know you'll hear story after story of what God has been able to do through TBA Church. God has shown us that He's faithful in so many ways over the years, from two different churches meeting and merging together to the very building that we meet in every week. God is constantly reminding us that we aren't finished yet, and it seems very clear that God's asking us to do something big again. About 8 years ago, God gave our leadership the vision of doing ministry in Highland City. Not only to go there and to serve, but to plant roots, to become a part of the community. Specifically, He showed us the vision of owning an entire city block, 4 plots of land in Highland City. In 2013, a house came on the market that was right next door to Highland City Elementary. God spoke, and we began the journey to buy this property. However, it was a journey of waiting on God as we faced several obstacles until finally in 2014, we were able to move forward and began to rally our church family around this amazing opportunity. Turns out, God knew exactly what the timing needed to be. Go figure, right? The church came together in an amazing way, and confirmation after confirmation just kept coming. In 1 week's time, the people of TBA, you, our church family, raised $107,000. Enough to not only purchase the property, but also to do some necessary renovations and to be able to start moving forward with ministry. Since then, there have been amazing ministries that have been able to use that property with huge impact for the kingdom. For example, through our homework club, we've seen students' lives changed, and some of those kids have even been baptized right here with our church family. Now, I say all of this to you so that you'll remember. Remember to look back and see just a piece of what God has done in the past. Because now we have a chance to add another step in God's plan for us. In August of this year, we had 2 opportunities come up that were clearly from God. The first began when we decided to remove the diseased tree on the left side of our building. We had contemplated for many years to extend our building on the other side, back behind the stage. However, it proved to be too expensive and impossible for us to implement. When we removed the tree, the idea came to us to extend the building on the other end. Doing this would allow us to get rid of our rented modular buildings that currently cost us $1,500 a month, and that cost keeps going up. It would allow us to finally build a youth space, giving them their own area, as well as building some much-needed office space to our staff, like real offices where we could all study and get work done instead of cubicles in the modular where we share in everyone's personal phone conversations. On top of all that, we could create many more rooms for D groups and small groups to be able to meet throughout the week. 2 days after we began to explore an extension, we were approached by a realtor about a piece of property in Highland City. Come to find out that only 2 organizations were contacted and the house wasn't even on the market publicly. TBA Church and the Polk County School Board were asked if they were interested in buying. This property is part of the same city block as our hub house. In fact, it's the property directly next to the elementary school, right behind our hub house. God's plan was so clear in that moment. Knowing what He has promised us, we began looking into the possibility of buying this property. Within 2 weeks, the school board decided not to pursue the property any further. Just another confirmation from God for us to keep moving forward in His plan for us. As of right now, the building extension is being explored. Rada Construction, who's helped us with many of our projects in the past, is putting together some plans and numbers to see what the final product will look like. We'll be bringing details about that just as soon as we have them. As for the house in Highland City, after extensive prayer and discussion with our ministry directors and at the family gathering, we've come to an agreement with the seller, and we are now officially under contract on the property. Presented with either of these opportunities alone, we could move forward without great risk or fear. But we learned in our Experiencing God study that when God asks us to do something, it will always be God-sized and will stretch our faith and our trust. These 2 opportunities together are definitely God-sized and a little scary from a human perspective. But that's exactly where God wants us to be, so we're trusting completely in Him. So what's next? When we know God's plan for this property and for our ministries at work in Highland City, the question is, will we be obedient again with what God has given us? On October 27th, we will be collecting an offering to buy this property in Highland City. Our goal is to raise $150,000, which seems like a lot, because it is. We know that only God can handle something like this. We want you to pray and seek what God is asking of you, to take a leap of faith with us and be obedient to whatever God asks you to do. If you have any questions at all about any of this journey that we've been talking about this morning, I would encourage you to come and talk to someone on our staff or one of our ministry directors. We would love to be able to talk with you and share even more of the story of how God is at work. We couldn't ask for a better church family to walk this journey with.